are the contractors involved in the construction of the buildings that collapsed as a result of this past weekend's severe storm? How bad was the damage caused by the hailstorm? And how will the government come to the rescue and assist the residents of the city of Johannesburg? And will Mayor Herman Mashaba keep David Tembe as the chief of the Metro Police? What time is it? It's question time. Welcome to the show. My name is Mpotsedu. A devastating hailstorm hit various parts of Gauteng, including Lenasia, Soweto, and the West Rand over the weekend. Protea Glen was arguably hit the hardest as roofs were blown off their houses, and some houses in fact collapsed. The Gauteng Infrastructure Department says urgent relief from various NGOs is being provided to displaced residents. For its part, the National Home Builders Registration Council says the state of houses in Protea Glen is devastating and concerning. But what does this disaster mean for the city of Johannesburg, and how are they going to deal with it? Or how have they been dealing with it? We are live. Therefore, you can call us and air your views. 089-110-4210 is the number to dial. Internationally, +2789-110-4210. Or tweet us your comments at QuestionTime24. And a reminder that you can also live stream us on our Facebook page, SABC News Online, and on our YouTube channel, YouTube/SABC Digital News. My guest is the Executive Mayor of the City of Johannesburg, Herman Mashaba. And Mashaba, thank you very much for joining us on this day. And I know that you're not well. It's been a roller coaster of a season, but we appreciate this is what leadership is all about.
Well, I think when you're a leader and things like this happen, unfortunately, everything has to come to a standstill. And that's precisely what happened on Saturday night when I got home after having a successful but also a depressing cleaning project of the SABC in the inner city.
Yes.
After working hard, working in an environment where our youth are being destroyed by drug lords, so we had to clean up this place. So by the time I got home, 4 or 5,
yes,
mentally tired. Then I see it in the news, storm approaching. An hour later, started seeing the damage. So I was up by 3 o'clock on New Year's Day, put together a team. By that time, obviously, we had already dispatched our EMS the teams to go and give assistance, not realizing the extent of the problem at the time.
Yes.
And obviously had to reschedule everything at the time. As you are aware, Johannesburg was celebrating
yes,
the carnival.
Yes.
And I was supposed to lead the project. I was having and hosting ambassadors of various countries for the first time in the history of the carnival.
Yes.
The embassies were getting involved with us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had to send a note to them to say, please bear with me. I'm not going to be able to make it. We've got a bigger challenge. And I started by 8 o'clock. I was at the Lowly Fire Station where EMS leadership gave me a brief of what happened and what they've already discovered overnight. And after the briefing taken on site, obviously starting in Lowly, going into the Protea Glen and
yes,
other areas. I think particularly Protea Glen,
yes,
I was hardly 10 minutes there when people were showing me these houses. And
yes,
I said to them, something is not right here. What type of houses are these? And I said to people, how long have you lived in these houses? Says, no, under a year. We've always had these problems. I then felt, no, something is not right. Yes, so we've had hailstorms. Hailstorms in this country is not a new phenomenon. But at the same time, it is for that reason why you need a strong the government that can ensure that the building plans are followed properly, yes, that you monitor the buildings, you monitor the companies that must build. But also what I found even more disturbing is that these poor the residents of ours, they've got bonds on these properties. And I said, but no, how did the banks actually get involved? Because I know normally working with the bank to get funding from them, they need security and they need solid security. Yeah. How were these houses insured? So I then said to people, look, I could not obviously spend the whole day in one area because we had problems in Bramfisherville, in Lufring, in Westbury. So I had to quickly try and cover as many areas as possible. But by then in the morning, after the briefing at Loli's Fire Station, I requested a meeting with national and provincial government to meet with the team from our municipality of Johannesburg at 2 o'clock, so that we can, by then I would be having a fair idea of what transpired. And that's exactly what I did. And I promised every resident and community that I went, afterwards I'll get them together to say to them, fellow residents, I'm here to investigate. I cannot give you answers at this point in time. Yes. I've arranged a meeting with my entire team that has been doing the assessment. I called all on the provincial and national leadership. Province had already promised that their representatives will be there. I said, after that meeting, I will then communicate the outcome, and we will work through your ward councillors to ensure that we communicate it, because it is not possible for me to come back and have a look, because one thing that I realize is that I have to find money to be able to address this. Housing, as you are aware, is not the capacity of the city. It's a provincial and national government capacity. So that is why we are busy right now doing this assessment. I'm getting the report on Friday at 2 o'clock, where we can then declare the city as a disaster area and get the province and national government to give us assistance. All right.
Sometime today I saw reports of protests, in particular around Protea Glen and the same communities that we have. You have just explained to us the circumstances under which they are living now. We're already blockading roads and all that, but let us quickly take a break. When we return, we'll just deal with that aspect. What is happening, what has caused such, and how is government addressing that? We're taking a quick break. When we return, we'll be taking your calls, 089-110-4210. Please don't go away.
We take an in-depth look of all your stories of the day across the world.
Last month, Mkhwebane said that the bank had failed in its duties to protect the public by not ensuring that ABSA repaid an apartheid-era bailout given to the failed bank, Bancorp. The rand fell nearly 2% on her remarks.
My effort, in my opinion, is going to be to build a Zimbabwe that I believe in, as opposed to remaking a Zimbabwe of the past that I cannot do anyway. So I'm absolutely clear on this.
We need to start showing more commitment by government that they are committed to working with business, and therefore that should start to stimulate confidence, and with confidence comes investment, and with investment hopefully comes growth.
Stay tuned to Primetime News every day from 18 hours.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Herman Mashaba is the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg, and he joins us today as we talk about the damages caused by the storm and what is going to happen there. Now, there's protests. Well, I know we are a protesting community, but yeah, what are the grievances there?
Well, I think, you know, if one looks at the protest, people are justified to protest. My only appeal to them is to ensure that in the interim, not to cause further damage to other innocent communities. Because I was there immediately after the storm. I've made commitments to the communities, and I've honored every promise that I'm promised I will make. I found it actually quite strange yesterday in the media, seeing some of the youth broadcasting and saying that the mayor promised that he was going to come back the very same afternoon. And fortunately enough, to all the meetings that I've addressed in every community, I did not address any person in a corner. I was addressing the full community, telling them about here to do the assessment. I'm going to have a meeting at 2 o'clock, and after 2 o'clock, I will then communicate, and I will communicate obviously through the media, through our ward councillors, to our regional offices, and make sure that please, make sure that you hold your councillors responsible, because luckily I managed to get the Speaker of Council to attend that meeting at 2 o'clock, because I needed to work with him, because every community in this in our city has got a representative, ward councillor that people voted, and it is their responsibility, communication like this, to be communicated, because it's not possible that I can be at the same place going to communicate the same thing, when in the meantime I think my focus right now is to get the resources to be able to really bring the lives of our people back to normal.
But then there's the NHBRC. What is their role here? Indeed, you've asked very critical questions as to how were these properties approved.
Well, I think Tsepa, personally angry. I am, and I don't have to really hide it from anyone, because if I look at our people, you see, if this were RDP houses, one can still accept. But these are houses where people they've got bonds, they're owing 400,000 or 500,000, right? Yes. And there's not, I can tell you, most of those houses, you've got to flatten them down, start all over again. Yeah. Now, someone has got to be held accountable. But at this point in time, I don't think it'll be fair for me to apportion blame on any individual. But one thing I can confirm is that the quality of those houses is below standard. So someone has got to be responsible. Is it going to be the City of Johannesburg? Is it going to be the province or national government or this NSBRC? Someone has to account, and we're doing a study on that. Secondly, we need to understand who had these contractors, how were they appointed to be able to do the type of work that they did. Thirdly, are the banks, the roles of the banks. I need to know who are these banks that finance these people. What work do they do? Try to tomorrow, buy a house around this area, see what process the banks will go through before they can give you that, because they want to make sure that they're buying a real asset. If it's going to be a R500 million rand asset, it must be that. It must be worth that, and they want the deposit. So in this particular case, communities are saying on the first month of occupying those houses, they already started seeing cracks. They started complaining, and no one did anything about it. But look, let's let our process run. In 60 days' time, the national government is willing to work with us. They had a meeting with my team earlier this afternoon, promising to give us all the necessary support to ensure that in 60 days we can know who's going to be responsible. And I can assure the residents there's going to really be consequences. Those houses, without any doubt, the quality is below standard.
Let's go to Mafikeng. Is it Getty?
Clayton.
Hello?
Yes, my name is Clayton.
Oh, Clayton. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Clayton.
Okay, this is just a comment for Mr. Mashaba.
All right.
Okay, I used to be in the property business many years, and I just want to make a point here that it's not unheard of that building inspectors of the municipality, as well as property developers, get friendly with bank valuators to either value above the value and get a kickback and that kind of thing. So also, as far as I know, the National Home Builders Regulatory Council, they do not inspect their houses. They just make sure that the builders are registered with them. So I would, as a port of call, I would ask Mr. Mashaba to look closer at the building inspectors and the values of the property. You know, as I say, the bank valuators sometimes value for more than it's worth. So that's just my comment. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Clayton. Well, yeah, Clayton seems to know.
That's exactly what I need to go deep into this particular matter to see who actually failed our people, who took them for granted. Because someone took our residents for granted, who at this point in time, I cannot push blame on anyone.
Yeah.
But everyone who was involved in this project, from the city of Johannesburg, from provincial government, from national government, including all the agencies of the state, all the contractors, the banks, they are going to be investigated. We want a paper trail to see exactly what happened to that level, because those houses should not really been allowed to be occupied with that type of quality that we are witnessed, and the residents are there to confirm it.
Okay. Well, I think we have dealt with the matter adequately. There are two issues that, well, the other one you have raised. You were busy cleaning up the city. Illegal occupation or hijacked buildings is a problem in the city of Johannesburg.
Let me tell you, actually on my way here, I received a notice from my team. I'm sure you're aware last week, someone who we regard as the kingpin of property hijacking syndicates in the city of Johannesburg was arrested last Wednesday. Someone that I've been after for more than a year. I heard about this individual. Obviously, it looks like he had connections, but General Sibia and the team did a professional work. Eventually, he's now behind bars. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, he's appearing in court. I can tell you, even with my health, when I leave here, in fact, I've got an interview here at SABC. When I leave, I'm rushing straight to court to ensure that this man does not get the bail, because we've got enough evidence of more hijacking, so that he has to take this nation into confidence, who he's been working with over the years to turn our city into a slum, because we need the city back to provide accommodation for our people, affordable accommodation. Because you look at what we've done the last 20 years. We build the Sentence and the Rosebanks of this world. We build the RDP houses. What about the missing middle? People who are working, who can afford to pay. I've got people in the inner city, in hijacked buildings, being charged up to 800 rands a month for just a bed. This is unacceptable. So Council has already approved our plan that we must take back these buildings, work with the private sector to build affordable accommodation, turn this city into a construction site. I am busy with it, and I'm sure you're aware, as far as undocumented people are concerned, Home Affairs and I, we're engaging, seriously engaging, because as a city of Johannesburg, we're not a city that is going to welcome undocumented people. When you're in the city of Johannesburg, please come into the city legally. If it does happen that you are here for some reason, you were unable to get the documentation, we are happy to take you to Home Affairs. Home Affairs, if this particular person qualifies, please give them the documentation so that we know who's who. And those that do not qualify, please send them back where they come from. Because Johannesburg cannot be a city where we have criminals. When there's such massive housing backlog in the city, over 300,000 of housing backlog that we are sitting with in the city of Johannesburg entirely.
Idumeleng.
Thank you, Paul. Can the mayor also clarify the issue of land? I heard one of the protesters complaining about land, because I think they say those houses were built on the land and they are not supposed to pay 4,000, they're supposed to pay 1,500. So I don't know what is happening with the issue of land, where those houses were built on. And I'd like to say to Mr. Herman Mashaba that he must keep it up, do a good job, and then we are supporting him, even though I live in Pretoria, but we are supporting on the good job that it is doing. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Idumeleng.
Well, the question of land, I think for us as a new administration, something that we've taken quite seriously. I'm sure you've heard, I've made pronouncements to that effect, that all city-owned land, as we get money over the next few years, we'd like to turn them into service pieces of land, and so that people can build their own structure, but it must be service land where there's proper infrastructure like water, streets, and other services.
Talking about
and also, What we are prepared to do, and I made it very clear unapologetically to the private sector that are sitting with land in the city and they're not prepared to sell to us. They think that we're going to pay ridiculous amounts and they're not developing it. I can tell you, as a city of Johannesburg, we will expropriate that land because I cannot afford.
With or without compensation?
Well, what we are saying is let us talk. But one thing for sure, we're not going to pay exorbitant. We will pay what we believe it's a fair value. What we are saying is if you've got a piece of land, you are a speculator. Okay. It is not going to be allowed here in the city of Johannesburg. We want, yes, definitely we don't want to take land from people and we cannot develop it. If it's your own piece of land, we are saying develop it. If you don't develop it, we are saying as a city, we'll give you the offer. Okay. Which we believe it's a fair offer. If you don't accept it, we will go through the entire process to ensure that we will pay you what we believe is a fair market value.
James, you are in Johannesburg. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I've got two questions, but before that, congratulations to the mayor. He's doing a very good job. Thank you for that. Mr. Mayor, the first thing is the people who are staying underneath the bridge, those who are selling the paper, the cardboard, all those kind of things. We've got plenty of those people, and I've got a factory there. So my staff and myself, I don't feel safe. That is number one. Number two, at Moy Street, as you're going towards the M2, there are squatter camps, unlawful squatter camps. It's about thousands and thousands of people who are staying there, and it's illegal, and it's also dangerous to themselves and to us. If you can help us with those, I would really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, James.
Well, I think James is raising a very, very important point, and I'm not sure, Tsepo, if you saw this morning, I released the statement about our new chief of police.
Yes, I wanted us to talk about that.
A very important matter, because the only way that I can have the rule of law back into the city, I need credible men of integrity.
But the ANC says he's not, he wasn't, he was number 5 on the list.
Tell me,
General Geller was the number 1.
What is credibility in the ANC language? I'm sure, please, I think, please ask them to check what credibility is in the dictionary, because it's a language, it's something that is foreign to them. So we took a decision of a man that we know and we believe that will serve the people of Johannesburg.
Was he?
And it's unfortunate that the ANC does not like it, because I think they fear his approach to handling corruption and the rule of law. So we took in someone who we believe will work with us, make sure that we bring back the rule of law, not integrity in the definition of ANC, because when the definition of ANC, it's you steal and then you get rewarded. For them, that is credibility. That is not what we're talking about. We want the leadership that can lead the city. Now, I've got a few months ago, remember, I also announced the group legal, Mr. Isaac Mohashwa.
Yes.
I'm excited with this. Mr. Mohashwa has been now with the city 4 months, and it's unbelievable type of support that our legal team is now getting. Now I've got the chief of police. I'm excited with this. That's why I announced this.
But they're taking it to court. They're taking you, I guess.
Well, please. I think, look, we live in a democratic space. I can't really decide for the ANC what to do. If they believe they've got money to take us to court and waste our time, fortunately enough, they'll pay our legal costs, because we run a fair process. We run an open, transparent process.
Was he the preferred candidate?
It's for that reason I recommended him to cancel. How can I recommend someone to cancel that is not preferred? I have a team that obviously does the assessment, bring the people to me, and then we discuss it, all of us as political parties, because it must be, I've got to do my homework to make sure that we check the integrity of this person. Sure. It cannot really be someone who was one day involved in corruption and so forth. And fortunately enough, all the parties that are voting with us supported us, but ANC, because they feared him. You remember how they got rid of him, because try and fight corruption within ANC, you're dead.
Okay. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you very much for making time to talk to us, and we wish you a speedy recovery from that flu. Well, that was question time for today, but as we say goodbye, we take this opportunity to pay tribute to Reko Rapetsi, who passed on, and he was our guest, if you would remember, not so long ago with Ndati Jonas Gwangwa here, and we say may his soul rest in peace indeed. That was question time from me and the entire crew. Ibe Khotso.
C'était comme Bolali.
We take an in-depth look of all your stories of the day across the world.